everyone! Welcome to the first of many food videos for this channel. If you haven't guessed yet, this is the pizza episode. Celebrate. Celebrate. So, we are doing my favorite version of pizza. And in the future, we'll probably do other pizza episodes. But this week, we are doing the recipe from this book, Pizza Camp, by Joe Badia. He's a local to Philadelphia. His pizza is some of my favorite in the city. And it's got that very nice thin crust that kind of holds up no matter what toppings you put on it. The recipe is super easy to follow and creates delicious pizza. So, without further ado, let's get into it.
Alright, so ingredients. I got bread flour, we've got sugar, we've got active dry yeast. I like to put it in this container once I open it up. Olive oil, kosher salt. Get yourself a scale that can weigh in grams and ounces. We've got 355 grams of cool water. Ignore the scale. I'm doing a bigger batch. 2 teaspoons of sugar. A half teaspoon of yeast. 1 tablespoon of olive oil. Grab yourself a whisk and whisk that olive oil in, fully incorporate it with the water and the sugar. You want the sugar to completely dissolve. In other recipes, the yeast will need to bloom, but in this recipe, there's no need. We're going to mix this all together. We're going to let it sit out. It's going to slow ferment. Here I am adding the bread flour to this. This is 500 grams of bread flour. That will yield you 2 16-inch pizzas. You can use all-purpose flour for this recipe, but bread flour is ideal. Yeah, scoop it out. Get it right. Darling! You got it! So pop that on to the heart of every wedding registry, your KitchenAid. You want to get out your dough hook attachment. Oh no. Oh no! 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 Just struggle through it. Get the dough hook on there. Fix the pizza batter. It's important. It's the heart and soul of this. So try and remain calm now that you've fixed everything. Put the attachment up, set it to medium-low speed, and you're just going to let this go. You're going to build up gluten. It's going to start to pull away from the bowl. It's really important to clean up after yourself too, so get everything out of there. Yeah, get all of that. Yeah, they're looking much better. So let this ride for 5 minutes at this speed. This is what it starts to look like. It starts to separate from the bowl, and make sure that there's no dry parts left to your dough. Nothing sticking to the bottom, hiding. So disassemble your KitchenAid. Have a ton of trouble doing it like I did. Get this nice and clean. Add all that dough back into the bowl. You're gonna let this sit on the counter before you add your salt. So wrap it in your plastic wrap. Make sure you get a nice tight seal on the top here. You could use a warm towel here to cover it up instead, but I got plenty of plastic wrap. Once you're done, admire your work, give it a pat.
20 minutes later.
We're back, pat it again. You're gonna add your salt. This is about 1 tablespoon plus a half teaspoon of fine sea salt.
I use the kosher salt. You're gonna really work that in there. You want to keep mixing it until you don't feel any of those granules of salt like bunched together. Get it really good and incorporate it. This dough I made here today isn't perfect, so you'll see later in the video the results of this. I should have let this probably mix a little bit longer for the larger batch. 5 minutes is good for the 2 times batch though. And wrap it back up again, and we're gonna put this in the fridge overnight. Say goodbye. Good night. Back with day 2. This is day 2 of the pizza. You're gonna remove it from your KitchenAid bowl, and it's time to separate it into the portions. So you can use a scale for this. You can measure it out as you cut it. I'm using a bench scraper to get this right, and if you're weighing it out, it would be into 16-ounce portions, but you can always just eyeball it. Pizza doesn't have to be perfect. So here I am working the dough one last time, just trying to get it nice and smooth on the top. This is very similar to how you would kind of stretch other doughs or like something like mozzarella, get it into a nice tight ball. All of the seams you want to leave along the bottom. You can see me bunching it up on the one side. That's going to be the side that you're going to leave facing down in the container that you get.
This is getting out of hand. Now there are 2 of them.
So now we're going to get ourselves a container with a lid on it. A pretty big one. You want enough room for these doughs to almost triple in size. I'm going to lay down some flour. If you don't have a big container, you can leave this on your countertop. Just cover it up with a towel. Booping the doughs is quite important, so make sure you do that. Now we're going to leave it here for about 4 hours on the countertop. So get your sauce, your toppings, get it all out. I've got some pesto, some pepperoni, some marinara here, some extra flour, more olive oil, some low moisture mozzarella, some fresh mozz, and...
That's just my baby dog. That's just my baby dog. That's just my baby dog.
So at this point you're going to take your dough out and you're going to pop it into that extra flour you have sitting there and begin working it with, from the center out. Just kind of tapping it on all surfaces to kind of get it even, starting to build out that nice dough circle. You can do some hand stretching, laying it down, get a feel for how big it is here. You notice with this I got some holes in it. I didn't leave that on the counter long enough. One of the couple issues I had with this dough that I did for this specific video. I'm sprinkling some polenta here. Cornmeal's fine, it's a little bit more coarse, but polenta is nice and small. It's got small granules, so you don't pick up on it as much in the final product. That'll help it come off of the pizza peel that I have here. Here I am like fixing it up, stretching it out, getting it onto the peel. Now it's time to add some sauce. So get a nice little spoonful. I got a big spoon here. A nice spoonful of sauce. Working around. You don't want too much sauce on here. Just enough that you can still see the dough through the amount you put on here. This is going to cook much nicer in the oven if there's less sauce on it. And then we're going to add some of this fresh mozzarella here. I'm breaking it up into small chunks, kind of scattering it about. At this point, you're not looking to overload the amount of cheese. I mean, that's your opinion. If you want to add a ton of cheese, you can add a ton of cheese, but this is how I like it. Now grab that low moisture mozzarella, shredded of course. No big deal if you don't shred it yourself. Kind of sprinkle it in between, fill in the gaps. So we're going to pop this into a preheated 550 degree oven for about 7 minutes. And the result is... boom! Add some grated parm.
a glug of olive oil and cut that baby up. And this finished product is great. It looks great, tastes great. It is just not everything I wanted in this pizza. As you can see, I didn't get as much, charring around the outside. It's a little thick. That's from it not being out long enough on the counter. It didn't stretch well. We had some breaking, so this could be better. At the end, I'll show you one that I do like, but it's definitely really good. So, no complaints here. This is me doing the other pizza. I'm gonna move it into frame. There we go. This is a pesto, just like pesto I picked up at Whole Foods. I could make it, but we use it for other applications too. Spreading that in there. I like to, since we can do 2 pizzas with this dough, I always like to do one plain and then one, a little spicy. Mix it up. Maybe some pesto. Maybe get some ricotta. You could always do, something with pepperoni. The world is your oyster. Always make one plain. Please the crowd. I also do one vegetarian. My wife is vegetarian, so gotta keep her happy. Oh, she keeps me happy with a beer. Thank you. Glug, 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 glug. All right, back to work. So we're once again gonna add some of this fresh mozzarella. I like to pick up some buffalo mozzarella. It's a little bit more pricey, but it keeps well in your fridge. So I'll use buffalo mozzarella if I could find it. But plain fresh mozzarella, just as good. For this one, we're going to finish it up with the mozz, and we're going to add some just raw, thin sliced red onions. Get it as thin as I can get it. Get them all over there. Just spread them out. I'm going to put them under the layer of the low moisture mozzarella, the shredded stuff. I like to pin down my toppings with cheese. So go in there, give it a nice sprinkle. The mozzarella, like before, we're not going to put a ton on. Even though this pizza can hold up this amount of toppings, like I could even probably put some more stuff on this, and it would be perfectly fine. So once again, 550 oven, about 8 minutes. Boom! Look at that. Looking wonderful. Some fresh grated parm, a glug of olive oil, and cut it and serve it. Having some really nice, high quality olive oil around to finish dishes is key. It's something that restaurants use very often. So get yourself some for your kitchen pantry. And as you can see with this, it's a really good looking pizza. A little thicker than I like, but holds up. Nice crust. Good. But here's the version I liked. You can tell that this dough a little bit easier to work with, a lot stretchier. It doesn't, have any holes in it from me stretching. I could stretch it pretty aggressively here. This is what it looks like when it's been out. It's been a nice moist environment. It's had time to grow, the gluten inside, and just a perfect dough. Hey, look at that. Boom. No holes. Looks great. So time to repeat the process. We got our peel with our polenta, laying down the dough, getting our sauce on there. We're going to add our cheese, and we're going to throw in the oven again. I am showing you this because even I make mistakes. I forgot to turn my oven on ahead of time for the other pizza. I should have turned it to 550 about 2 hours before I started. If you turn it on ahead of time, you get the oven nice and hot, and you don't lose any heat when you open it up to throw your pizza in there. And it helps with, as soon as it hits the stone, as you can see, this one has nice bubbles around the side, really nice like blistering, leoparding on the pizza. That's what you're looking for. That's what I was missing on the other pizza. So you kind of get to see the tale of both of them. A really good one, and a pizza's pizza. All pizzas were good. That's my opinion. You can put whatever you want on it. Sound off in the comments below. Tell me what your favorite pizza topping is. I personally just like a plain pizza. Also like pepperoni. No topping shaming. You can put whatever you want on it. So thank you for tuning in to our first pizza episode. There will be more. I love pizza. I love all kinds of pizza. So I will show you all the pizzas that I like to cook. If you like this pizza video, hit that like and subscribe button. I've got content coming out every Monday and Friday. This Friday's video is going to be a short one. It'll be about how to find the perfect recipe. Until then, I love you. Goodbye.